Hey everybody, Sergeant Glory here again. Decided to talk about Nicol Bolas, Pharaoh God, a little bit. Yesterday when I did the Hour of Devastation pre-release pack unboxing, I mentioned that I had a Nicol Bolas Planeswalker that I pulled out of a booster box. I only have one, and for kicks and giggles, I'm building a deck around him to be able to pull him out of the deck and ramp up to him because he's a big guy. So the card, in case you haven't seen it, I'm sure you all have, is this Nicol Bolas, Pharaoh God. 7 mana. It's a powerful card, but it's a tricolor deck, and it's a lot. So what we have to be able to do is we have to be able to get 3 colors into the deck and ramp up to him, and that's fairly easy to do. I'll play Crypt of the Eternals that allows you to tap for any color. I'll play Manalith, and I think Manalith is the #1 card here. I feel like this card slows this guy down a little bit, because you can get this out, but it takes 1 mana and tap it. So you can't use it for mana. Well, I mean, you can, but it requires 2 mana to get the color that you want. So I feel like the Manalith card is better. I run them both for redundancy, because you can only have so many, one card in a deck, and I want to make sure that I get all the colors that I want. So this card's a little slower than this one, but that's okay. This one's free. Doesn't cost me anything to get it on the table. After that, I'll play Juru with Eyes Open. It's weird, because there's no white in this card. But he lets me go into a deck and just take the Planeswalker out. So instead of trying to tutor to it, I can simply go get him. I can go fetch him out, if you will. So I play him along to get into the Nicol Bolas. I can also play Samet. She allows you to do the same thing. She's a little slower than him because of her power here, 4. And I was drawing a blank on what that's called. It doesn't matter. So she comes in at a 4, but you've got to get her up to 7 to be able to go get this guy. If you play him, he's 1 mana more. You play him, and you can just go get him as soon as he enters the battlefield. She's still good because of her extra abilities, but I would choose him over her almost every single time. You can draw cards out of the Hour of Devastation. You can draw cards like Feral Prowler. When it dies, you can draw a card. You can use cards like Champion of Wits, and Champion of Wits is actually a really good card to use in this mechanic, because when it comes in, you'll draw 2 cards because it's draw cards equal to your power. So you'll draw 2 cards, but you have to discard 2 cards. When you kill it and eternalize it, it becomes a 4/4. So now you're drawing 4 cards and having to discard 2. So this card is very good for this. For getting him out of the deck if you don't pull one of these. So good tutor cards here. Strategic planning is good. I don't like having to put them all in the graveyard. I wish that this said, look at the top 3 cards, pick one and put the rest in your deck. But that's what this card does, and that's why this card is more expensive than this one. This is 2 mana, this is 3, of course. But here you can look at the top 4 cards of your library, pick one, put the rest on the bottom. So I'll play these cards, and alongside of those cards, I'll play the Blood Water entity. And the reason being is when I play this, or this, and then I cast this guy, I can then pull this card out of my graveyard if I still need to use it and put it back on the top of the deck. So redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. Now, once I get the Planeswalker out on the table, my favorite strategy for being able to protect him is this guy, Locust God. And he's awesome for all the right reasons, because if you can get him out on the table before Nicol Bolas, he's gonna pull cards for you. He's gonna tutor so that you can go find your Nicol Bolas. You can keep drawing cards. He creates tokens to protect him, and every time that you draw a card, he creates tokens. So he draws, draws a card and then discards a card. So you activate his ability every turn. You'll draw a card at the beginning, create a token, draw another card when you activate his ability, create another token. If the Feral Prowler dies, draw a card, create a token. If you play Bloodwater Entity, or I'm sorry, not Bloodwater Entity, if you play this guy, create a token. Play this guy, create a token. He's so good with all of this stuff. The trouble is right now I only have 2, so it sounds like I need a couple more. And so that's sort of the deck that I'm building around Nicol Bolas. And I've had some playtesting with it, and it's fairly successful. But I think I'm going to have to reach back into previous sets to get better cards to pull them out. Maybe I'll get lucky and pull another one. I'm not pushing my luck really, because I got this guy out of a booster box that I bought a week or so ago and got it very, very cheap. Got a really, really good discount. I don't know how, but I did. And I pulled this card out of that same box, and a Locust God out of that same box, and a bunch of other mythics. It was crazy. So I'm not pushing my luck. This is a really good card, and I'm trying to find a way to get him out on the table. So what do you guys think? My first question is, do you think he's even worth using? I think he is, but I mean, he costs 7 in a tricolor deck. So is he worth the trouble? I personally think he is. Maybe you don't. How do you manage getting him out of the deck? How do you manage ramping up to him? I didn't show very many ramp cards that I have in the deck, because the only ones that are in this set for ramp cards that I really, really like, there's the other Locust God, that I really, really like, is Oasis Ritualist. And the problem is it's expensive. It's 3 and a green, 2/4, add 1 mana of any color. Great ability, not very hard hitting, but you wouldn't really use it to attack anyways. So I get this guy out on the field and it adds 1 mana of any color. So between the Oasis Ritualist and the Crypt of the Eternals and the Manolith, I may be in overkill slightly, but I don't know. I don't think so. He gets out of the deck. Usually he doesn't get out of the deck until around turn 5 or 6, and that's okay, because it isn't until around turn 6 or 7 that I'm even going to be able to pay for him, unless the ramping goes precisely the way that I want it to. So, what do you guys think? Card worth using in a deck in Standard, or not? And if so, how do you get him out, and how do you ramp up to him, and how do you like to do this? Because I know that we dealt with this problem with Ugin, although he was a colorless. So what am I saying? Ugin was a lot easier to get out of the deck than him. But I'm open to all your suggestions. Go ahead and comment. I welcome them all. Like and subscribe. Share this video if you will, please. And I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.